Well, good day everyone. It's the next day, 12 hours have passed. I decided to read the instructions and yeah, it's 12 hours. Got up early and masked up all the car. I'm going to put this rust solution on this paint to make it go rusty. The reason I've masked it all up is because this stuff makes a mess. And I don't want it getting, one, all over the floor, and two, all inside my cab. Well, the first thing to do is get a small container and put the rust solution inside that, and then brush it on with a brush. Now, to accelerate the process, I've got a small spray bottle here just with water in it. I'll spray it on as I go as well. And like I said, that will accelerate the process. Once this is all done, I have to wait another 12 hours before I can clear coat it. So I'm just spraying some water on it at a distance here. I'm not worried about the whole mist thing that they suggest, because I found this kind of worked better. That way you got a bit of a dripping effect as it starts drying. Well, as you can see, what appeared to be grey paint has now already started rusting. You see probably here where I haven't probably put enough and I've already washed it off. That's all right. All right, so I'm thinking I'm just going to leave this for the moment and come back in maybe half an hour and just see what it looks like. Now, it's only been about 10 or 15 minutes and it's already starting to dry in some spots. So I'll give it another little bit of a spray there. And as you can see, it is starting to rust already. Gotta make sure I keep these little bits here wet too. If it dries up, it just doesn't look the best. All right, I'll leave that for a little bit longer. Come and check it in another 10 minutes. So it's been 10 or 15 minutes and I've sprayed some more water on it. It's really starting to rust up and look pretty good. I really like this dripping effect that I've got going on here on the roof. And I don't mind what I've done here. And I wasn't sure about it at first, but I quite like it. I like this back section as well, though I'm not too sure about what I've done here. But you know what? I'm not really fussed because you don't see it anyway. Yeah, that's working and turning out really nice. Well, look at that. That's that horrible orange again. Anyway, I know that's how it goes because I've done this before. There's still a lot more drying to go. You can see it's a little bit wet there through the roof. I'll leave this for a good day or so. Oh, look at that. Wow. Anyway, like I said, I'll leave this for a good day or so. And I'll put some matte clear on it later. So getting on with the chassis here, it's time to put some brakes on this thing. Well, some discs on it at least, so I can put the wheels on. I bought some brand new ones and they arrived just this morning. So I'm packing some grease into the bearings, and man, I hate doing this. It's such a messy job, but it's got to be done. So I'll do that, put the seal on the back of this, and get the discs on the stub axles. Now, it's been a little while since I've done one of these, so I may get a couple of these steps wrong. Anyway, I'm gonna whack these on. I've already put the bearing in the back of the disc. I'll put a little bit of grease on there. Grease on my hands already. I hate it. I'm sure everyone does. Unless there's people out there that like playing in it, I don't know. Alright, grab this brand new disc. Yeah, maybe I should have put the grease on afterwards. Anyway, I didn't. That's that done. And that's going to want to fall off. I'll pack the inside of there with a bit more grease. And for those of you that know how to do this a different way or a proper way, in case I'm doing it wrong, be sure to let me know in the comments. Anyway, oh, the bearing, the front bearing, I don't have it handy. I'll go and get it. Doesn't help that this stub axle isn't. Doesn't help that the stub axle's moving everywhere. Alright. Then there's this, which I cleaned up, had a bit of a burr on it. I'll just clean it up on the grinder. That goes there. And there's a big castle nut that goes on here. Again, filthy. Horrible job. I get my big spanner here on the big shifter. And tighten it up till it's kind of firm. Doesn't have to be real tight, but it does have to line up. And I'll have to find that. There should be a hole in the stub axle right near the thread here where a split pin goes through. And I can't see it. Yeah, I've got so much grease here that I can't find the hole. Ha ha ha, I can't find the hole. I'll just give it a little bit of a clean up and move some of that grease. And there's that hole there. So the split pin goes in. There we are. I'll give that just a little tap, drive her in, and just fold that split pin back. Only one side, the long side. Well, that's how I've always done it. And that spins nicely. Oh, I thought there was some play in those bearings then, but no, it's because I haven't done up this nut on the axle there. That's where the play is. When I tighten that up, that'll go. Okay, last thing is a little cap. I'll get a little bit more grease. Don't know if you need to really do this, but it's again just something I've always done. Push it into the bearing there. Put the second hand cap on. And give that a little hit too, just to punch it in. And there we are. We've got some brand new discs on the truck. Time to do the other side. So with the front end together, the discs on, we need to steer this thing. So we need to put a steering rack in it. So last night I pulled it all apart, gave it a little bit of a service by pulling the rack out, greasing that all up, pulling the pinion out, well not actually pulling the pinion out, but servicing the pinion through here. And I greased all that up as well and made sure everything was okay. I then taped everything up where I didn't want water to get in, cleaned it all up and gave it a coat of paint. I then ran a tap down the thread of these adapters and I ran a dye down the threads of the rack ends and the tie rod ends. I also cleaned up all the nuts, making sure they were all good too, and I just cleaned up these second-hand boots. I'm not going to put new ones on, they'll be fine. So what I'll do now is take all this masking tape off and assemble this rack. Well, there it is, all done. Let's get it in this front end. So I've cleaned up all the bolts here that go into the steering rack, fixed them up on the linisher, and we're going to throw this rack in. Without the engine in, it makes it a little bit easier. I can just throw it in underneath here. And these bolts just go straight in through the top. With a washer and a nut underneath. Like that. Now, the other ends just simply go in there with another nut on top. I'll go do the other side. And then another nut on this side. Now I've got some spanners on me, and I'll just go ahead and tighten it all up. Actually, I might leave this one loose, just like I left these ball joints here loose, and I'll come back to that later, but I'll definitely tighten up these two here. I'll just climb in there and... Hello? Now for a moment that'll do, but I will get my torque wrench out and I'll torque them to spec. And we can make some adjustments here once the thing's down on the ground with wheels on it, and get a little bit of a wheel alignment going on. Yeah, it won't be right because I still need the springs in and I need it at proper right height. But at least with some sort of wheel alignment, I can push this around. So that'll do for this video. Next video, we're going to get this rear end in and we're going to take it off the rotisserie. What? The rear end in. Terrible people. Anyway, we're going to get the differential in and the rear springs in so we can put it on the ground and put some wheels on it and roll this around the garage. Might even get that body on, eh? See yous.